The date is Friday, February 26th. This is the news on PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Indian High Commissioner His Excellency R. Massaquoi has announced the arrival of COVID-19 vaccines as a gift to Jamaica.
Today, just before I came here, I received a good news that, and this I would like to convey to you honorable ministers, that the vaccines are about to arrive next week. I am not giving the exact date, though I have it with me, but the flight details will follow very soon.
The Indian High Commissioner was handing over medication valued at $100 million to the Ministry of Health and Wellness on Friday. The donation is to help Jamaica in its fight against COVID-19.
These medicines are essential and critical to Jamaica's response to COVID-19. They could help save many lives in health facilities across the country. Honorable ministers, ladies and gentlemen, we are living in extraordinary times where the best of health and medical facilities that human minds and knowledge have invented and get most of were caught completely off guard, and thousands of lives, including from many developed countries, have fallen victim to this pandemic.
Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton and Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Minister Camilla Johnson-Smith welcomed the partnership, noting the long history between both countries.
Partnership works, and this is a classic case of partnership. And to the people of Jamaica, you know, your government is working hard for you. And I want to make that very clear. I mean, even in times when it gets tough, when there are doubts, when there are anxieties, particularly in the context of a pandemic, when you see and hear things around you and you assume, sometimes naturally so, that we're not moving fast enough. I just want to say that sometimes these things take time. It's not always possible to speak clearly and elaborately on all the details, but we are working as partners, in this case, people of India, people of Jamaica, for your benefit. And I think this announcement is a manifestation of a lot of work that would have gone on before this time. So thanks again.
But on behalf of the government and people of Jamaica, we convey heartfelt gratitude and sincere appreciation to the government of India for this generous donation, even as they deal with their own challenges in respect of the pandemic.
Travel restrictions and protocols for travelers from the United Kingdom have been extended until Monday, March 15, 2021. This means the current ban on direct flights from the UK will remain in place. All non-Jamaicans who have been in the UK within the last 14 days who may seek to enter the island through another country will not be permitted to enter Jamaica. Jamaicans will be tested for COVID-19 and detained in state quarantine for a minimum of 48 hours until the results are returned. If negative, they will be allowed to transfer to home quarantine to complete the 14-day mandatory quarantine period. If positive, they will remain in isolation at a location that is approved by the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Minister of Tourism Edmund Bartlett says wide distribution of COVID-19 vaccines is key to the full recovery of the sector. He shared his thoughts during a virtual lecture series on restarting economies through tourism.
To this end, I think it is of great optimism that approximately 206 million doses of vaccines have already been administered across 92 countries globally, translating to roughly 6.53 million doses daily. As more vaccine trials and tests are conducted daily, especially in the more advanced economies, more vaccines have been green-lighted by the World Health Organization for widespread use and deployment after having demonstrated high efficiencies during the trials in achieving inoculation against COVID-19, usually offering 2 or more doses.
Global tourism came to a virtual standstill for months in 2020 due to lockdowns as governments fought to limit the spread of the virus. In Jamaica, more than 50,000 people directly employed within the tourism sector were laid off last year. Fast forward to 2021, the world tourism sector is on a steady recovery. Thousands of employees have been reinstated, with strict COVID-19 protocols being followed by airlines and airports. The Jamaican government developed a comprehensive set of COVID-19 protocols to enhance the health, hygiene, and safety standards for tourists, employees, and facilities.
We have seen countries requiring negative COVID tests for their own citizens to return home, and for visitors, resulting in countries like Jamaica ramping up their testing capacities. Some of these countries have also implemented quarantines upon return. To reopen borders without quarantine and restart aviation, government need to be confident that they are effectively mitigating the risk of importing COVID-19. This means having accurate information on passengers' COVID-19 health status, informing passengers on what tests, vaccines, and other measures they require prior to travel, and the ability to share their tests and vaccination results in a verifiable and a safe way will help to restore confidence in order for governments to reopen borders.
President of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, Omar Robinson. Mr. Robinson notes that the continued operation of the industry at this time depends on having accurate information on travelers' health status and informing them about COVID-19 protocol practices at their destination. He says there's an app for that.
IATA is working on the launch of a digital platform for customers called Travel Pass. This is a mobile app to help passengers easily and securely manage their travel in line with any government requirements for COVID-19 testing or vaccine information. One airline, Delta, is moving forward with a digital health passport. Delta has introduced a partnership with Trust Assure for customers to upload and verify documents at check-in directly.
He says members of the tourism sector understood that they play an important role in keeping the global economy alive. The government says it is undertaking a comprehensive review of security on all its websites and networks to ensure that compliance with international standards and best practices are being done. Following Wednesday's monthly meeting of the National Security Council, chaired by Prime Minister Andrew Holness, the process is now reportedly underway, with 162 website reviews completed and another 100 in progress to date. Any credible vulnerabilities that are identified are concurrently being rectified. The meeting received a comprehensive update on Jamaica's cyber architecture and a specific report on matters related to the JAM COVID-19 application. A media release further stated that Prime Minister Holness has directed that plans for building cybersecurity resilience in Jamaica be accelerated, including bringing the new National Cybersecurity Strategy to Cabinet in the second quarter of the upcoming fiscal year, and launching a new Cyber Academy, as well as intensifying cross-agency cooperation. The Jamaica Business Development Corporation, JBDC, has launched an initiative dubbed Formalizing Operators in the Jamaican Agriculture and Fisheries Sector Project. It's aimed at transforming largely informal operators within the agriculture sector and fisheries sector into formal businesses. Speaking at a recent JIS think tank, Amanda McKenzie from the JBDC's Project Management Department shared the requirement for the different sectors.
So what is required for agriculture may not necessarily obtain for fisheries sector. We'll also take them through the steps as it relates to interacting with the different agencies. For example, the Companies Office of Jamaica, the Tax Administration of Jamaica, the Trade Board, and what are the resources that are available through these organizations for them to formalize. These organizations will be key stakeholders as well as training partners, so they will be available to provide further information as required by the participants.
100 farmers and fisherfolk from across the island will receive training in enterprise formalization and capacity development under the project.
So we're taking them through what it means to have a supply chain, a consistent supply chain, financial record keeping, how it is that you, for example, make linkages, identify opportunities within the market. And of course, we are not just looking at the local market, but the markets external to Jamaica. So what is required for exporting, for example, how it is that you are able to trace your production methods, because these are key requirements when you're looking at external markets.
Ms. Mackenzie says the JBDC is ready to provide guidance for farmers at whatever stage of their business.
For example, if it is that you are just starting with an idea, or if it is that you're at the incubator stage, if it is that you're seeking to scale in your business, for example, we have a specific topics that will suit operators based on where they are at.
Applicants may download the forms from the JBDC website at www.jbdc.net. The application period is between February 22 to March 22. The International Labour Organization funded project will run from January to November 2021. In March 2020, the government presented the Bartlett Lodge Development Master Plan. This will result in more affordable housing, expansion of jobs, sustainable agricultural production, upgrading of roads and informal communities, and improved water supply for this part of St. Catherine. The overall goal is to move Portmore from a dormitory community to be more self-sustained by creating a new city. Melvin Pennant reports.
On Tuesday, the groundwork for this development began. The Kankara company has been awarded the contract to develop the water and sewage. Civil engineer on the project, Stefan Rampier, speaks to this.
What we have here today is historic. It is the first delivery of pipes that will become part of the Greater Bartlett Lodge project. The Greater Bartlett Lodge project will transform over 4,000 acres into an urban city, very close to the city of Portmore and the city of Kingston. So, Kankara, we are putting in water pipelines and sewer pipelines. The development will also include roadways, social infrastructure, sidewalks, and all the amenities required to support the development, both residential and commercial.
What is the expected timeline for the development of this new city?
The new city will grow over time. What you will find is that we are putting in the bones for the new city. The first part of that infrastructure will be ready within the first half of this year, but the city will grow and we will be completed within 2 years, but the city will grow for the next 20 years.
The development plan, which has benefited from a wide range of stakeholders' consultations and cabinet deliberations and approval, is a comprehensive mix of how lands can be used for agriculture, housing, commercial activities, and community life. Melvin Pennant, PBCJ News.
In this expanded edition of the Business Report, host Gabriel Thompson speaks with financial coach Denise Williams on the vital issue of debt.
In Thursday's trading session, the JSE combined index advanced by 27 points to close at under 400,000 units. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 93 stocks, of which 39 advanced, 39 declined, and 15 traded firm. The junior market index advanced by 1 point to close at under 3,000 units. Stocks advanced for 138 Student Living Variable Preference, Access Financial Services Limited, and Blue Power Group Limited. Stocks declined for 1834 Investments Limited, Barita Investments Limited, and Berger Paints Jamaica. Trading firm were AMG Packaging and Paper Company, CAC 2000 9.5% preference shares, and Caribbean Assurance Brokers Limited. Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited was the volume leader with 2.9 million units, followed by QWI Investments Limited with 2.6 million units and Siboney Group Limited with 2.5 million units. Now for the foreign exchange. The US dollar on Thursday, February 25, ended trading at $151.54. The Canadian dollar sold for an average $121.55. The pound sterling traded for $213.22, and the euro ended trading at $189.03. Debt is often considered a bad word. Today, financial coach Denise Williams of Financially Focused shares 5 secrets to transform your relationship to debt and maximize your financial worth and success.
Well, here's the thing. I'm here to serve, and I want to, invite you to spend a few moments with me so I can show you how we're going to do it. Part of the conversation about debt is related to freedom from scarcity. And, scarcity is so much. Scarcity tells us we don't have enough, or we don't have enough time, we don't have the skills to get the job we need. Oh my God, scarcity is just inundated in out through debt. Now, here's the thing though. Debt has a purpose. Yes, it's a taboo subject, strife, struggle, secrecy, scandal, all that's wrapped up in debt. Yeah? We want happier, healthier lives, and we need credit and debt in a modern society. And for many of us, our relationship with debt is one of the most shameful, stressful, worrisome aspects of our lives. I know that was the case for me. So in this conversation, I just want to look at the 5 secrets, and we want to talk about some of the strategies, that will help you to pay off your debt with, stress, without stress, worry, anxiety. You are not going to be at the whim of the banks, the poor economy, poor money decisions, all of these. So secret 1, how to use powerful language that will reduce your debt by 50%. So here we're talking about how do you speak to yourself about your debt? How do you language the conversation with family? How do you language the conversation with your bankers? That is one of the key secrets to managing this debt process. We want to show you how to ethically write the same type of persuasive letters that private bankers use for their clients to get payment extensions along with fees and interest waived. You will appreciate, as I said, when I was facing a 62-page credit report, I thought I'd get help. I thought someone would just come and say, oh, I'll take care of it. Nothing of the sort. I had to learn to do it myself. And this is one of the key secrets we'll share with you. You want to clone the proven conversations that wealthy people use to convince their bankers to negotiate a favorable debt settlement. Is it unfair to say that wealthy people get a better relationship and a better outcome with their bankers? Perhaps it is, but again, we can show you how to clone this conversation. We can show you what to do so that you walk, you talk, you email, you write in confidence. Secret number 4 is you want to clear your name from hidden charges and mistakes to your credit history. That is so critical. Again, as I said, my 62 pages was riddled with mistakes. And so I want you to be free of such an experience. And the final secret is we want to talk about the exact same script that private bankers use to repair their clients' credit history and increase access to low interest rates. Are you seeing that there is a trend where people who have certain access get certain benefits? I hope you are, because that's what I want to share with you. And so it's just really important. I want you to take away from this conversation that you have the power. You have the power to get the support that will change your experience.
For more information on the development of your financial future, head on over to financiallyfocusedmedia.com or find Denise on YouTube at Financially Focused. And that does it for the Friday edition of the Business Report on PBCJ. I'm Gabrielle Thompson.
Over now to regional news. Since the establishment of the Gender-Based Violence Unit of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service in 2020, hundreds of arrests and charges have been made as it pertains to such matters. This was the revelation of the head of the unit, Superintendent Claire Guy-Alain, at Thursday's police press briefing. Sherilyn Lewis tells us more.
For the period January 2020 to present, 89% of all gender-based violence reports have been made by females. However, head of the Gender-Based Violence Unit, Superintendent Claire Guy-Alain, said the unit has been successful in making arrests and charges.
Close to 2,622 persons. Out of that 2,622, 2,338 were females and the remaining were males. And every single victim has expressed how happy they were with the service that was provided to them.
And Police Commissioner Guy Griffith said, where restraining orders are concerned, there is now greater enforcement.
More persons you'd have known for years gone by where restraining orders, it was a joke. It is no longer a joke. We are enforcing restraining orders. We are making sure that victims can be protected, and we are going after the individuals who are deemed as the perpetrators. So the data is there.
Superintendent Guy-Alain is urging persons to ensure that their reports are taken before leaving any police station.
Do not leave the station. You can ask for the most senior person on duty. You can ask to see the most senior person on duty and get some redress. We must take your report and investigate the report.
The Gender-Based Violence Unit was established on January 21, 2020 and is represented in all police divisions. Sherilyn Lewis, TTT News.
A farmer in St. Lucia is fighting to contain her farm after a swarm of locusts descended on a region in Vanard quarter in Anse, Raye, devouring and destroying her crops. The farmer has summoned the island's agricultural authorities to the farm. Senior news correspondent Cecile Actil reports.
Cecilia Trimaki has been planting vegetables for the past 3 years on this farm right behind me. But 1 week ago, she woke up and saw an unusual activity taking place on her farm. She said it happened overnight. 3 rows of potato leaves were chewed up by a swarm of grasshoppers. She reached for her cell phone and explained to NBC Prime why she informed us about the invasion of locusts on her farm. According to Google, locusts are the swarming phase of certain species of short-horned grasshoppers in the family of Acrodidae. These insects are usually solitary, but under certain circumstances become more abundant and change their behavior and habits, becoming gregarious. The farmer says she doesn't want to create a panic, but she observed that there was a combination of caterpillars and grasshoppers.
I know the caterpillars do a lot of devastation, so I treated the situation for caterpillars, but the hoppers are still around. Now I know hoppers, when they get into a group, become locusts. That's basically what the definition is. If you look up the definition of locust, it is a group of very aggressive grasshoppers that do damage to crops. So if this is something that's only on my farm, I'm dealing with it and I'm finding ways to resolve that situation. But if the situation is something that is going to be on many other farms, we might have a problem on our hands.
Markey summoned an extension officer at the Ministry of Agriculture to assess the situation. 90% of the crops grown on her 6.9-acre farm are sweet potatoes. She fears that the invasion will destroy her livelihood, and her efforts to destroy the insects have done little to slow down the devastation.
We hit them with some dipel, which I try to stay as green as I possibly can, because I eat my own food and I don't want to poison what I eat. So we use a green solution of dipel, which knocked out the caterpillars for sure. Then we did Phoenix to try to get as many of the grasshoppers as we could. I saw that they had become a little more sluggish after the Phoenix, but we still have a few. So I'm going to try to use Regency and see how that works.
Markey has been involved in the farming business for the past 3 years. She said it's the first time she has ever experienced the activity on a farm. The last locust invasion affected St. Lucia significantly was in 1989. Back then, the government of St. Lucia used piperids to curb the infestation. The farmer says she's concerned that other farms may be affected by grasshoppers and that farmers should take action to address the issue before it becomes a bigger problem. Sister Lactil, MBC Prime.
In sports, we take to the pitch with cricket. On Tuesday, Cricket West Indies, CWI, hosted a high-performance workshop designed to improve the standard of fielding in the game around the entire region. The workshop saw the involvement of coaches from all 6 territorial professional franchises, as well as several players now participating in the CG Insurance Super 50 Cup as part of CWI's new coach development program. The workshop was also attended by West Indies legend Shivnarayan Chandapal, assistant coach and manager of Guyana Jaguars Courtney Walsh, head coach of West Indies women's team, and cricket consultant Sir Courtney Ambers. The workshop was organized and coordinated by Chris Barbazon, CWI's coach development manager, and conducted at the world-famous Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. And with that, we call an end to play for this newscast. On behalf of our hard-working production crew, we say thanks for watching PBCJ and pleasant viewing.